coffee?
7:08 p.m. coffee out of the 1660 Peachtree Street mug.
Oh, that's cool.
The mug they gave me when I moved in, and whatever fucking year that was, 2003?
Yeah, I was going to say 2002 maybe, but 3 is probably right.
2002, 2003, 1660 Peachtree Street luxury apartments.
Is that what it says? Luxury apartments?
Does this one say luxury? I don't know. I know that online at some point they were marketed as luxury apartments.
Luxury.
And there was not, I mean, I don't know. There were normal apartments.
Yeah, what would you call it now? Do you think they're kind of luxury?
No, I called it an apartment. It's a normal apartment. It had a washer and dryer in the unit. That was cool.
That ruled. I did my laundry there once.
There were pools. That was cool. There was one pool. Shouldn't say multiple. One pool. A gym.
Did you ever use the gym?
Yeah, a couple times.
Yeah?
Yeah, I know. It's surprising, isn't it? I would,
Maybe not back then, I guess.
I never really lifted weights. I would do cardio.
Yeah. Cardio, I'm so bored. I think I have too much ADD or something for cardio.
Yeah, I agree. Being on the treadmill or something, it is the most boring thing in the world. Like I cannot think about anything else other than the fact I'm running on a treadmill.
Me too. It's awful.
And I tried to watch TV. That doesn't work. I've tried to listen to music. That just, you know how if you put your fingers in your ears, you can hear yourself breathe more?
Yeah.
That's what happens. Like I hear the music, but I can just hear my body gasping for air. And then it's like, I don't like this. None of it works.
Nope. It's tough. I don't know how people do it.
Some people love it. I just go running. It clears my mind.
I can't do it. Well, first of all, running is awful. I have never once enjoyed running, ever.
Nor have I. I made the mistake of joining the cross-country team in ninth grade. But I don't even know why I did it, to be honest, because in middle school, you'd have to run the mile every once in a while in gym class. That was a thing. We'd go to PE, and they wouldn't even tell us. Like, you'd get changed. You're like, I wonder what we're going to do today. Something fun? Battle ball or some shit? It's like, no, we're running the mile today. And nobody fucking liked it. And I was okay at it. Like, I always came in second. This guy, Bo, Bo was always faster than me.
I could never run it the whole way. 4 times around that big track. Get out of here.
We weren't even running the track at that point. In middle school, they just, I wonder if it was even an official mile. We'd run on the different, there was like an upper field and there was the lower area, which was asphalt. It sucked.
Ooh, asphalt.
But I would come in second usually. And like one of the coaches said, you should run cross country next year when you get to high school. And I fucking hated running. I also am not good at running distances. Like I can run the mile, but my breathing has always been shit. And at some points in my life, I've had an inhaler. But you know, running cross country is not just on a track. You're running through woods and up and down hills. And
oh, that's a whole different thing.
It doesn't matter if you're running track or not. Like I would hate running around a track. Is there anything? It's punishment.
It's so boring.
You get the runner's high, though.
Have you ever gotten a runner's high?
I don't. What, some endorphins after working out? Sure. You feel good, but it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not that great.
You know, else you get a high drinking booze.
Yeah, that's way more fun.
Popping a pill. It's like, I don't have to fucking run. I don't have to run for this.
Maybe not the popping of the pills. Maybe that's no good.
I'm just saying there's other ways of getting high.
Yeah.
But not healthy, like my runner's high.
Yeah, runner's high.
So
how long do you have to run before that? Like, does it happen not afterwards necessarily? Like, I kind of understand it more when if it happens after, but does it happen during and like people are like having some flood of endorphins or something?
Yeah,
so you've never had it?
I've even tracked it. I don't know.
I think you would know if you had it, right?
No,
like it seems like such a thing. I guess I've just never like run long enough to ever come close to getting a runner's high because I've always hated it so much.
I don't think it's that intense. I don't think it's that great of a thing. Like there's just a nice feeling at some point, especially after working out. I think it's continuous. You have to work out continuously for, I don't know, 20 minutes or something. But, the nice part is when it's all over, yes, there's a bit of an endorphin rush and you're also just excited that all that shit is fucking behind you for the day.
Yeah.
Like when I played soccer and they ran the hell out of us and I was a goalkeeper and it made 0 sense. I was like, I'm a goalkeeper for this very reason, so I don't have to run. And then
and they still made you run?
Yeah, the coach would say, you're the leader of the team as a goalkeeper. You need to set the standard. It's like, okay,
are you a leader as a goalkeeper?
Some people will make that argument.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you're on the field and the ball's on that side of the field and you're defending, you do call out directions. Well, you also call out directions. You kind of send people around. And there's a bit of a field generalness to it.
Okay. I don't know anything about sports. I played some softball as a girl.
I don't know why I reacted like that. It's pretty normal for people to play softball.
It's totally normal. Yeah, I played softball. It was pretty cool. I was really good at batting.
Yeah. And have you spoken to your mom? It was her dream to also play softball. And watching you succeed only made her jealous.
Yep, we talked about that last week.
Was that last week or the week before?
I think it was last week.
No, last week was the cruise.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you, I got some good feedback on that show.
Oh, yeah? From whom?
My friend Luke.
Oh, cool. What did he say?
What did he say? He said something along the line of
cool
last few episodes have been top notch.
Whoa. The last few episodes have been top notch.
I may be putting words in his mouth.
He would never say top notch. He's listening right now. He's like, how dare you? I would never say top notch.
He wanted to say it's been great. Oh, okay. Really enjoying the recent episodes.
Okay, cool. I'm glad.
So he didn't say top notch. It would have been better if he did.
Yeah. Now I don't really care about the compliment because he didn't say top notch.
Intro of the show.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ. What was my apartment number? 4308 at 1660, I think. 43.
Oh, I never thought about it because I always just call it, I just think about it as 1606.
You don't even know the fucking address.
Wait, what did you say it was?
1660.
Oh, 1660. My bad.
1660 Peachtree Street. The beginning of my life in apartments.
That was the fanciest apartment that I knew anyone in.
Yeah, so you would say luxury.
Yeah, I would. It had like you said, the gym, the pool. It was like right there in town. How much did you pay? Do you remember?
It was like $814.
Golly.
But I mean, at the time, that I don't know how I paid it, honestly. I forget what I was making. When I first started interning at 96 Rock, I remember sitting there, there's no money for being an intern. And I just thought to myself, man, if I could just make $300 a week.
Yeah.
Now, that was before I moved to 1660. I was living on Collier Road at that point.
How much was that rent? Like $400?
That was like 500.
Yeah.
And I had to get my dad to co-sign the lease because I didn't, $500 a month. It's like, I don't have that.
God, can you imagine?
But then they started converting those into condos. Like they were selling them. And I was going to have to move, or they gave me the option to buy the place if I wanted, but I didn't want to buy a fucking studio condo.
Would they have fixed it up for you?
That's a good question. I don't know. Probably if you were already living there and you bought it, I don't know if they'd fix it up. If you left, yes, they did fix it up.
That's what I mean. So I wonder if they would fix it up even if you bought it, since they're fixing up the entire place anyway. Because otherwise you could get it for super cheap if they don't fix it up, I guess. Well,
they wanted like $89,000 for it.
Gosh, if you had done that, and then what could you sell it for now?
I don't, because it wasn't like that complex was weird. It was a weird apartment complex.
It was, sprawling. But still, now though, like where it is, I mean, has Collier changed all that much? I haven't been down there in so long.
I can't say either. I don't know if the fondue place is still there.
The fondue place. Was that Melting Pot?
Yeah. There was that Fellini's.
I remember people saying, People who I did not respect their opinion talking about how Melting Pot was like the fanciest place to go. And even then I was like, huh?
Well, fondue is a thing. People, it was exotic to them.
Yeah, fondue. It's just dipping bread into cheese. BFD.
But again, an experience that they hadn't
I
come
guess.
across before. You love hot pot, same thing, dipping shit into boiling water.
I do love hot pot.
See?
But that's different. That's like sauces and vegetables.
Sure, there's a wider array, but any of those things.
And I also don't feel like it's the fanciest and like the most exotic thing I've ever done. I mean,
no, that's the problem with hot pot is it should be like a cheap night out, but
right, yeah.
they really lean into it and charge you a lot. You want those shrimps, those prawns? It's going to cost a shitload of money.
But it costs no. It's usually just one price, and you order everything, and you're only allowed to stay for like 2 hours.
Oh, shows what I know. I went to an actual
Yeah.
hot pot in China once.
Ooh, was it cheap?
I don't remember. I don't think it was for work, so I didn't see a bill.
Yeah, a lot of times it's one price, and you can order anything you want. Anything. I mean, you have to pay for drinks, I guess, but
So anything on
and then
that
you're only
menu?
allowed to stay for 2 hours. I like Korean barbecue more, like where you grill the stuff at your table.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
I think I've only done that once in LA.
It's the best.
I was with my cousin, and then I paid for it with a company credit card, so I don't remember what it cost.
Oh man, you got all kinds of companies paying for your stuff.
You got to be careful these days. They're cracking down.
Yeah, because they don't have any money.
You take an Uber
No money.
that's not tied to a production.
Mm-hmm.
Fired.
Really?
You're finished. Yeah, there's been some instances.
Instances.
I don't know. It was so difficult to say that. I don't know how widespread the abuse was with a certain person, but maybe there's certain things that we all done at some point. You have the credit card saved in your Uber account, and it's the day after production. Like when you work on productions, you really do have to use the credit card quite often. And the day after, like, oops, I forgot to switch it back.
Right. Whoops.
That was a personal ride home from the bar, home from the fondue plant.
That's right. From the very fancy Melting Pot.
Man, I wonder if that shitty liquor store. This is a boring episode. And even people who live in Atlanta, if they don't know that very specific intersection of Howell Mill Road and Collier Road, they have no fucking clue what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, then let's talk about fancy restaurants.
They have no.
Or places we thought were fancy until we grew up.
There was a Fellini's there. That was cool. I mean, Fellini's in general in Atlanta. I thought that was pretty fancy. It's like, ooh.
Did you?
I mean, not fancy, not fancy in its own right, but fancy in the way that this is different and exotic, because where I grew up in the suburbs, there was always that one place that claimed to be New York style pizza.
Yeah, in the mall.
Or in like a strip mall. It's like some guy from Brooklyn he's like, he just moved here from Brooklyn and he opened
Uncle Joey's pizza and pasta down.
Yeah, Amici's or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, ooh. But, for the most part, you had Sbarro in the mall or fucking fast food pizza, Papa John's, Pizza Hut. So, getting to Fellini's. Also, the fact you could just drink. When I was in my early 20s, I don't know. It was just like, I'm getting beer with everything.
Oh, yeah. I remember going to that Mexican restaurant. Where was that? On Howell Mill?
El Amigo.
Yeah, and we would use fake IDs and or maybe we wouldn't get carded at all.
Well, that was a known spot. I hope they're not still in business. I doubt that they are after all these years, but we're back to Howell Mill Road. You tried to get away.
I did.
And you brought us right back to Howell Mill Road. Where when I first went to college, Georgia State, it was known. It's like, hey, you want to go out? You're underage. You don't even need an ID. They're not going to ask. Go to El Amigo.
Right.
And you just get really fucking drunk. And then I introduced it to maybe people at the station. I know that I had been going for a couple of years. And then when the Buzz launched and Roach was around, we would go. It felt like every fucking night I was there.
Really?
eating Americanized tacos and getting really fucking drunk, and then going home to the Collier apartment as Roach drove the Roach coach to God knows where in the suburbs.
That was so gross. That Jeep.
I think it was a Chevy Blazer.
Was it really? I thought it was a
The
Jeep.
Jeep was the dank tank.
Oh, that's right. Ew, why did he get that? Why did he get a whole car to himself?
I don't know. So the radio station had an old Chevy Blazer that I assumed was branded with one of the Clear Channel stations at some point. I don't know if it was 96 Rocks. I don't know if it was Peach 94.9.
Yeah, or like GST.
Yeah, but the decals had been stripped off, and then it was just spray painted with WBZY, the Buzz, and the Roach coach, and it was a fucking shitty thing. And with the spray paint, the whole idea was the radio station wasn't owned by a big corporation like Clear Channel. It was being broadcast out of some dude's garage.
Right.
So the spray paint was meant to tie into that. But if you're a cop and you're like, what the fuck is up with this car? No, you pull that Blazer over and the guy's like, I work for a radio station. I swear, man. Like, yeah, fucking right you do. It was like, what station is it? It's like 96.7. And if you're anywhere in the city or north, it doesn't come in. The signal's weak as fuck. So
right. They're like, what?
Yeah, they try to tune in.
I've never heard of this.
They try to tune in. It's like, huh? There's nothing. It's a static, dude. Are you drunk? It's like, you know who I am? I work for the Buzz. Really, really risky, dumb behavior. I just thought about the times. Even I can't get off of Collier Road, but that Fellini's wasn't that far from the apartment I lived in. But I would never walk. Atlanta's not a walkable city.
It's not. It's even like, across the street to try to go to that like Irish place. It's like, remember that Irish pub that was on Collier?
On Collier.
It was right across the street from where you lived. Or like Catty Corner.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't really go there too much. I thought it was too expensive. The beers were probably like $5.
Yeah, it probably was expensive. I remember being annoyed at Irish restaurants charging so much for something like bangers and mash, which was a poor man's dinner. Like the whole point of it was like, the Irish are poor and we have these meals. And it's like $17 for bangers and mash.
Yeah, I'm.
So I also thought of it as expensive because I remember we went there with Nick once. I thought it was not fancy, but I was like, "Ooh, this is nicer."
Yeah, whatever it was is not there anymore. I'm looking at this.
Well, there was a restaurant group in Atlanta that owned all those Irish pubs that closed them all down. Remember? No,
did they all close? It wasn't like Hand in Hand and
yeah,
and
I think so. Yeah, Hand in Hand was down in Buckhead.
Yeah, they all have the same aesthetic.
Yeah,
and variations on the name. So yeah, I think that was part of that group. Central City Tavern was the one I liked, but that was farther away.
Was that the one that was up on Peachtree and Collier?
Yeah, it was on the corner before they.
Yeah,
knocked
I remember
it down.
people that worked at Clear Channel would go there and get drunk on like baseball games or like football games.
I mean, or you just spend all day drinking, watching the NFL football on a Sunday, and then you walk down there to continue to drink more, and you smoke a pack of cigarettes as you play darts.
Ugh. Ugh. I remember, I'm so glad that there's no smoking in bars. I just remember being hungover, and then your hair would stink like cigarettes, like stale bar cigarettes. And then your pillow would smell like it. And so like you couldn't escape this awful like hangover. Ugh.
No, it definitely added to the hangover.
It did.
Multiplied it exponentially.
I heard that the thing that it's called when you wake up and your hair smells like cigarettes, it's called bowling alley wig.
Where'd you hear this? TikTok?
I don't remember. No, this was a long time ago. It was before TikTok.
Yeah, I guess nobody's smoking anymore, so it's hard for them to...
It's not a thing that the children will know anymore.
Yeah, they can't give their social commentary on it because they don't know what it is other than gross.
Gross.
As they vape.
So my kids, their grandparents, Travis's parents smoke. Well, maybe they don't anymore, but they're a smoking household. And my kids don't know anybody else that smokes. And so anytime they smell someone's cigarette, they're like, they feel nostalgic for their grandparents. So they like the smell.
That makes sense. I mean,
It does.
Since smell is so tied to memory.
Yeah.
I had grandparents who smoked. I don't remember seeing them smoke, but yes, you could smell it. And I never, at the time, probably put it together. When you get older, like, oh yeah, that smell was cigarettes.
Right. It doesn't matter when you're a kid.
I didn't even think about that shit. Like, I guess we were told early on that smoking was bad. And if I saw an adult smoking, I'd think that's bad because you're a kid and you just take whatever they tell you at school as gospel.
Uh-huh. Well, I think my mom really drilled it into me that smoking was really gross and really bad because she didn't want me to smoke. So I remember being a kid and be like, ew, Mom, they're smoking.
I mean, it was similar. It wasn't, my parents didn't smoke, and each of them had a parent who smoked. And I heard stories about, my dad going on a family vacation and then being in the back seat of the Cadillac and my grandfather just smoking, the windows up. And, my dad thinking it was gross. But I ended up smoking and I loved it.
Yeah.
I'd still hide it though from my parents. Like, I'm an adult at this point. I'm 20 something years old. It's okay. I can't let my parents know that I smoke. And then they get in the car and like, it smells like smoke in here. It's not me. It's not me. It's my friends. My friends.
Yeah,
smoke.
that's weird. That's so weird.
Still blaming it. Like when they find the Playboy magazine in your bedroom. It's not mine. I'm just holding it for Kent. I'm
holding it.
He asked me
I would never look at that.
To be the keeper of his magazine. That I have I brought it up on the show before? I know we
don't think so. Maybe you did, but I don't remember the story.
I had a few magazines, and I thought I hid them well. That's the thing. Even in being a teenager, when you're a kid, you think you're fooling your parents on everything, and then I realize it's like, no, you're not fooling them on anything. Like, you're not sneaky as a kid. You're clumsy as fuck. You're not smart. You're not stealth. But you get a bit older and you think, all right, I'm going to hide this. No one's going to find this. There's this weird box on the shelf in my closet nobody ever goes into. I don't know how. That's not
a bad place. That doesn't seem so obvious.
Yeah, but I don't know how or why. But at some point, my mom found them. But she held on to it and didn't say anything until one day I angered her. And during the argument, it was thrown out. Don't think I don't know what you're hiding in your closet in that box on the shelf. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, did your heart go into your butt?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Well, you immediately think back like, well, how long have you known?
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing on so many levels because
now she knows what you do. She knows what that magazine means.
Yeah. So and then you say, they're not even mine. Holding them indefinitely.
See, that's the worst part. Honestly, like now as an adult, that's really the worst part is the lie. Because it's like, you're so busted and it really doesn't even matter all that much. But the fact that you're lying, like you're doubling down, like, oh, come on. It's like you should get in more trouble for just that.
Yeah, they're Kent's. I mean, I have them more often than he does, but I really just serve as like the library. I don't look at them. They're just there. They're hidden for him. And when he needs them, he asks and I bring them over to him, or he comes by and he picks them up and then he drops them off. Is it because like
his mom would really be upset, or his parents would be more upset if they found them?
You don't even think about that. No, I know he did the same thing. Like we talked about it when we got a bit older and he's like, oh, I got caught like with,
so they were
a magazine. And I told my mom they were yours. And I was just holding on to them. It makes it any better.
Yeah.
What? Oh, that changes everything. Okay. Well, because they're not your property, I can't tell you what to do with them. Like, I need to help you protect those. It's nice of you. It's nice of you to help your friend.
Yeah, you're just doing just such a nice thing. You should talk about this with her now. Be like, what did you think when I told you that?
There was some sex tape that I got. It wasn't porn. It was like this is an erotic, here are positions you can try with, your partner. But they were naked in it.
Sure.
And that's all I cared about.
Yeah. Listen, I watched Real Sex and those were hardly ever very sexy.
No, Real Sex on HBO was, we're making a mold of this woman's crotch today. Here's how we do it. Dump a bunch of
and she's in
plaster on
her
there.
50s.
And it pulled out all these pubes. Oops.
Or it's like those, like, you know, orgasm like meetings where like they're all they're like learning how to give their partners orgasms, and there's some 56-year-old woman on the floor going like,
I guess it was a different time in that even presenting that stuff on TV in any sort of way was somewhat new and open-minded. It's like, yeah, we're going to do this. This is the stuff our society has shied away from forever. We're going.
So look at these people being so open.
It was nice to see that there were people who were comfortable with their sexuality and exploring it at any age.
I can see, like, I don't remember if this is true or not, but I just feel like I can picture one of the men in that group wearing like a linen shirt, and it's like buttoned all the way down. Like it's buttoned. It's the very last button it could be buttoned. And he has like, you know, beads and like gray long hair. And he's like he and his partner are running this seminar, you know, and he like demonstrates on her. Ew.
It's a strange time in life when all that stuff that you had
but
zero.
I was glued. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, well, there's all this stuff that you had no interest in before suddenly became interesting. But you don't really even know what to do with the feelings and all that stuff because it's not really talked about. I guess you have sex ed in middle school, but it's still just very basic.
Oh my God. I'm remembering now. There was some movie called like, is it The Lambada? It's like The Forbidden Dance. And it was just like, I don't even know what the movie was, but I was like, I knew it was coming on because I would take the TV guide and I would read the TV guide and I would find like look to see what would be on at night to see if there was anything like sexy to sneak and watch. And I think one time it was like The Lambada, The Forbidden Dance. And it was really just a lady, like, I guess, who was a dancer. And she was just like moving her body, just like doing the lambada. And I remember there was like a sheer curtain and it was like blowing and she was like in the curtain and like a guy was watching her. And it was like they weren't allowed to do the dance or something. It's so stupid.
Here's a list of all the segments from episode 1, which of Real Sex, which apparently ran for 19 years.
Whoa. I would love to watch an early episode.
What is this? No, I miscalculated. No, okay. It says TV series 1990 to 2009, but on Wikipedia it says the number of episodes was only 33. So maybe I don't know, there was just a thing that came out sporadically. Anyway, very first episode, How to Strip for Your Man, a striptease class taught by La Gioconda.
Ooh.
Then A Family Business was the next segment. A husband and wife strip couple filmed at Big Al's in Peoria, Illinois. Sex by Telephone. A brief segment about phone sex. Portrait of a Virgin. A 31-year-old virgin talks about her lifestyle and how she plans to wait until she's married. Homemade home video. Kinky homemade video of a couple jumping into bed. Filmed by Adam Crown. Who knows what the fuck that was. Sex for One. A masturbation class for women.
Okay.
Taught by Betty Dodson.
God. And
then erotic films for women directed by Candida Royale. That was the whole first episode. That's packed. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 segments. I don't know. I think back to that time. What a fucking mess. I came across these Life magazines my parents had, and there was an article on breast cancer, and it showed a woman getting a mammogram, and I was in first grade. I had no clue what breast cancer was, and I didn't even would never even tell you why I was drawn to the images of the naked woman.
Just boobies, some bibs.
But I liked it. But I also knew that I shouldn't let my parents know that I liked it.
Yeah,
it's weird that all exists.
Well, I mean,
it's probably a problem, right? That you should.
Yeah,
that you don't
it's
let your
part of our
parents know.
society. It's like weird shit about. It's like in cultures that aren't burdened by Christianity, like the Thai people, they're super open about all kinds of stuff. It's really interesting to see the difference. Like, have you seen those videos of people getting their, like, everybody has to be in the army, right? In Thailand at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you get like, depending on, they have like a lottery system almost to see if you're going to get called to be put in the army. And like there are these videos of these people going up, and they're really, really feminine men, and they do little like dances and stuff before they pull out their little ticket to see if they're like getting drafted or not. And it's just so interesting because nobody's like mad at them for doing it. It's not inappropriate. It's just like, whatever. It's because they're unburdened by this like shameful predisposition or prepositions of what's expected of you as a man.
Well, what would you say to a first grader who
Pete was looking up boobs. Remember, he was like, he had all those tabs open of like boobs, big boobs.
Yeah. Did you talk to him about it?
Yes.
What did you say? How did the discussion go? It's okay to like big boobs.
I said, it's totally normal for you to be interested in looking at that. It's okay. It's totally normal.
How old is he?
He just turned 8 in February.
Yeah. So what is that? That's second or third grade?
Well, he's in second grade now, right?
Yeah. So you're asking me.
I always forget. I always want to say he's in third grade, but he's not. He's in second grade. And when was this? This was like, it was probably over a year ago that he was looking at.
Man, the internet it changes everything. I had to look at the Life magazine, and because first grade is 6 and 7 years old, and the interest is starting to pop up. But you only take what you can get, and I wasn't seeking it out because I wouldn't even know how to seek it out at that point. But having the internet, even being in middle school, I remember logging on, searching in Prodigy, and looking up things I was generally interested in, searching dinosaurs, for example. And then you think, wait a second, if I search dinosaurs,
sexy dinosaurs?
What if I type in, boobs? And then it pops up and it slowly loads. And now it all, appears more than you want. Like the video was out of the question at that time. And I didn't want a video at that age. Like that was I just wanted to see a picture of a naked woman. Yeah,
I don't think that Pete has been exposed to anything. It's like,
he's probably not seeking it out, but I think that's probably a concern.
And I could see on those, and he had these tabs open, so like I was able to see what he saw, and it wasn't anything crazy.
It just feels like it's hard to avoid. It just he's looking, and then there it is, right in his face. But anyway, you were talking to him about it.
Oh yeah, so I just said that it's normal, and I told him the story about Travis when he was in kindergarten had to bring in 100, like it was for like the 100th day of school, and people had to bring in 100 of something, and he cut out 100 pictures from Victoria's Secret. So it's just a thing, it's what happens. And I think I told him it's that when I don't remember if I said something about like you do things in private or something. Maybe. I don't remember exactly, but I just tried to make him.
But he was doing it in private.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't remember if I talked about that necessarily, but I do remember saying like it's totally fine, it's normal, it's okay. But I said, I remember now. I told him the problem with you looking at it now is that, and especially using the internet, is that the internet, you're not ready to see what is on the internet. Like there are things on there that aren't made for your brain.
Yeah, I'm not ready to see what's on the internet. And I'm 43.
Sure, there's all kinds of stuff. So I was like, this isn't a safe place. It's the same reason why you guys aren't allowed to have a YouTube channel, because there are things online that you don't understand and that you won't understand and that you don't even know to stay away from, I don't want to tell them like people will make comments about you and hurt your feelings, and then you'll want to respond to that. Like, I didn't want to get into all that, it's just, or like, I didn't want to tell him like, you're going to find things that scar your brain because your brain's not ready to see the sex that you might come across if you're online. So
it's a difficult conversation.
Anything yet.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing.
Yeah.
If and my parents knew I was looking at the Life magazine, what do you say? It's like, well, he's just looking at it. And
you say, I asked if he has any questions, I always try and say like, what do you think? Or do you have any questions?
I was never lied to when I asked where, babies came from.
Yeah.
So,
I've asked the kids that, and they talk about worms. They say like, these white worms come out and they find the egg. Like, people have sex. I was like, well, what is sex? And they said, well, the white, just like they hump. They said that people hump because they see the dog humping his like thing that he humps. And then the white worms come out and find the egg.
So you can't even grasp it. You can't grasp the full thing. So you have the discussion. It's like, so if your first grader is looking at some boob pictures in Life magazine, maybe it does make sense just to leave it alone and see where it goes. I don't know. I don't look back.
The whole thing, what the school of thought, as far as talking about sex with your kids, is you let them lead you as far as it goes. Like, you don't give them more than what they're asking for or what they're looking for. So like, I didn't explain to them like, well, that's like, what about the part right before the white worms? Like, what is that? Where do they come from? Like, I didn't do any of that. It's like, yep, that's right. The white worms are called sperm. They find the egg. It's like,
okay, I'm going to play Roblox now.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. And you don't have to explain the whole thing to them. They'll let you know when they're ready. At least I hope they will. They'll let me know.
Victoria's Secret, though. Yeah, that catalog was a gold mine. That was so much better than the Sears Bra ads in the Sunday paper. If you ever get a hold of that catalog, I think it's kind of crazy that he cut out 100 pictures and his parents didn't notice. But
I think they thought it was funny. I think they knew.
To take into school?
I guess they just thought it would be funny. I don't know.
Yeah, watch this. Our son is a star of a comedy sketch show. See how this plays out. If you got your hands on that, though. It just wouldn't come unsolicited, though, would it?
What do you mean?
A Victoria's Secret catalog. I feel like you had to ask for it.
Oh, it might have. Like if they find out somehow that there's a woman living at that address, you might get signed up for something like that.
They may send it to you. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure, though.
It feels so much better. It was quaint. It's like, yeah, I'm figuring out these things. I'm sure there were people, before print media and all that. And I know that there's always been discussions and debates when any form of new media comes about because it is going to be used to promote porn and sex. That's one of the things that is going to happen. Everything is always hijacked. AI already. It's like that the most advancements in AI are probably in porn. I just feel like there are complete fake women out there already. There are supposedly like the ads that pop up are AI porn. But the supposedly part was like there are programs, I guess, that you can use to create your fantasies with it. We're gonna get to the point where you put on your VR headset and you have your haptics and you create the person that you want to have sex with and you do whatever the fuck you want.
Oh my God, it's like Star Trek in the holodeck. There's this scene in a Star Trek Next Generation episode where there's a woman, I think she's played by Famke Janssen, and she's like super intuitive, and her like whole species or whatever just like gives men what they want, which is like such a horny fucking stupid plot line. But
well, imagine that writer's room.
For real.
They're all jizzing together. The white worms.
The white worms. I also heard an old lady call it rooster juice. Ugh. That rooster juice comes out.
Gross.
Yeah, it's so gross. Anyway, so he's like kind of kissing Famke Janssen, and then he like they don't do anything. I don't know why they part ways, but then he's like, "Computer, if anybody needs me, I'll be in holodeck 2." After they part ways, because he's gonna go like masturbate in the holodeck.
Of course, if you have access to that kind of technology, that's what you're going to do.
Ew. But like, the thing that makes me laugh so much is thinking about like somebody comes into that holodeck, they don't know it's in use, and then Riker Like maybe for some reason you don't see what he sees. And so he's just like,
Yeah, I'm like watching those videos of people playing VR games. You don't see what they see, and they just look like idiots. They're just jumping around. It'd be the same thing.
I've never seen VR pornography. I'm too afraid to like look it up.
I haven't either. I don't have a headset.
Yeah, I have a headset.
I think it's you just look around and it's a bit 3D.
But aren't they like
stereoscopic vision
touching you and stuff?
No, I mean, I guess if you get some advanced setup, I've seen those weird. Here's a hydraulic jack that you put your dick into, and it mimics what's going on the screen. But I don't think most people have access to that.
God, and why? You know,
that's what's going to trend.
Whatever.
I mean, I was saying it was quaint when I was figuring it out because you had limited access to these things, and you found what you got, like whatever you had, but that also felt like a nice way to ease into it, like starting with bra ads. It wasn't
like so intense so quick. Maybe.
Exactly. It feels very overwhelming, and I wonder if it does have some sort of effect, and people don't know what to do with it. The fact that most people, not most, but a lot of people still don't want to talk about it. I know that sex ed was always something that you had to opt into, and there were some kids who just weren't there for it because their parents said definitely no. Yeah. Which I think is a disservice to their kid, but maybe as this technology grows.
Yeah.
As it grows.
Hopefully those kids are getting the talk at home, but most likely they weren't.
No, I feel like it was being avoided completely.
Yeah.
But as this grows and you get those needs met and you don't have to actually interact with another person, and the closer it becomes to the real thing, then of course you're going to avoid the real thing because it's more complicated than the act itself.
Right.
You can just...
And no disease.
You can just put on your haptics and your hydraulic...
Gross.
Strap on your hydraulic pump. Take your headset and you write your own program. You tell AI exactly what you want. It's like, all right, we're creating this for you today. It's like, oh, thank God. When it's over, you're like, nobody saw any of that. I don't have to talk to anyone. That could be I
don't think that it would take over personal interaction.
I don't know. I think with a large subset of people, it would.
Yeah. Sure. But those people are going to be loners and maybe weirdos anyway. Right? It doesn't have to just be because this technology is there.
Yeah, maybe it's good then. Those guys who end up hating women because they always got rejected because they're total creeps.
Yeah.
They think it's because, they're ugly or something. And sure, it's harder when you're ugly. I wouldn't discount that. But, even ugly people get married. So there's always someone out there. At some point, so you have to look at yourself and say, what am I fucking doing? It's not other people's fault.
That's what I felt like when I was single for so long. I was like, I'd be watching my 600-pound life and these giant people had partners. It's like, what the fuck? I'm cool as shit.
Oh, you got to a point.
Get a partner.
You got to a point where you were starting to. I thought it was all by choice.
I mean, I would go on the dating things and like the apps, and I would go on there with like I'm going to try. Like, I'm going to look on there and try. And then everything I saw, I was like, ugh. And I would just get so annoyed by like men in general that at that point it kind of was on purpose. It was like, I don't want this. Well, and then it turned into like I needed this time and it was good for me. I was like learning how to be alone.
I was going to say, when you met Joe, the whole thing was, I'm going to take this very slowly.
Yeah. Which I did.
So I was just
he asked me to be his girlfriend and I wanted to just say yes right away, but I wanted it to be, I didn't want the reason for saying yes to be because he asked, and I didn't want to make him uncomfortable by saying no. I wanted it to be because I really wanted to. So I said, hold on, let me wait.
That's why I thought this was self-imposed. I didn't know there was a point where you were feeling, what the hell? The 600.
Well, because when I was like dating around, it was like so dumb, and everybody was, or I would like be interested in someone on the app and they wouldn't want to meet me, or they wouldn't want to, continue talking to me or something. And I'd be like, why? I'm really cool.
Yeah, because they were married.
Maybe.
Or they were in a relationship. I think dudes on apps in general, unless you're super good looking, even if you're decently good looking, it's hard to get matches. So it's not as disposable to men. So I find it strange that they decided they didn't want to meet up.
I know.
Unless you were saying some things to scare them away.
No way. I was being cool. I was like, hi. How's it going?
Trying to be too funny. I'm like, I don't want a funny person.
Well, that's probably true. I probably scared them with my awesomeness.
A lot of the dates.
She's too awesome.
Yeah, a lot of the dates make sense, though, because when you didn't have the opportunity to meet people online, you had to meet them in person, and you can gauge a person, even if you have minimal interaction. There's just a feeling that you get, and through the few sentences you exchange, you just go on that intuition. And if they're off a bit, you probably say, no, I'm not interested in going out. And when you're on an app, you don't have that first line of defense. So it's like, all right, let's go out. So you're coming across a lot of the weirdos.
Yeah, I did have some weirdos. I had that guy who thought that murder should be legal, and he couldn't go back to California because he has like felonies or something.
Well, what a weird thing to share.
He ate 2 entrees.
He was hungry. Hopefully he paid.
He did. Oh yeah.
2 entrees. What were they?
2 entrees. I forget what the one thing was, but the second one was shepherd's pie. I remember that.
Maybe it was just an instance of I want both of these things, and it's hard for me to choose.
But he did one, and he ate it, and then he was like, I'm still hungry. I'm going to order another thing. And then he was telling me about murder and stuff. Like, Jesus Christ.
What was the rationale with that? Was this the thing where it's I'm just trying to be edgy? Is this a thing that you've thought about? Probably not, but let me open up your mind. Did he really mean it?
No, I think he meant it. I think that he was thinking like, he was explaining it that, if murder should be like, hey, this guy was mad at that person and they did that and they deserved it because it was like.
This guy was mad at that guy.
Yeah, like so they're mad at each other, so let them, fight it out and do whatever they have to do. And like that kind of stuff shouldn't be. I think it's like he wanted to murder people, and he thought like he should be able to.
Didn't even get creative with it like I do. I don't want to murder. I just want to, bust in people's knees and slice their Achilles.
Well, you want like vigilante justice.
Yeah. This is a designated squad. The mayor hires you and says, look, people are causing trouble out there. They're bothering other people. They're blasting their dumb music. They're yelling at people. If you see any of this, you have the authority to bust their knees. Thank you.
Knee busting squad.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'd love to be a part of that squad. But murder, it's taken a little too far. I've had violent fantasies before.
I know.
The fantasy of stabbing a guy in the neck with a pen, and as he's bleeding out, showing zero emotion on my side and just letting the blood wash over me, and then not showering for days. And as his family is at his funeral, I show up with this crusted blood on my face. It's fucked up. I get it.
It's really fucked up. It's upsetting. Jesus Christ.
I wouldn't, but there's no world where that actually happens.
If but fuck. Why is that in your brain?
If I stabbed a guy,
cool to do.
If I stabbed a guy in the neck with a pen and his blood started squirting out, I think I'd have a panic attack.
Yeah, you'd flip out.
And I wouldn't feel good about it. I wouldn't remain calm. And even if it was justified and, I wasn't found guilty of anything, it was self-defense, I think it'd fuck me up for the rest of my life. So there's the realization, like this is just this weird fantasy. Like, I know that in real life, that is not the way it would go.
Right.
But there's just something cool about, again, the calmness. Mm-hmm. I thought about being on a plane before. and somebody, charging the cockpit, and me
Right, yeah.
calmly taking the shoelace out of my boot and going up behind them and strangling them with it.
Yes.
And when they're dead on the ground, just going back and putting the shoelace back in my shoe, acting like nothing happened. And people
Who
just
was
looking.
that man?
Yeah, what is going on?
Yeah.
And he's wearing a 3-piece suit on the plane. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. So there's a level of vigilante justice, the coolness of Batman. The Batman doesn't kill, and I do.
Well, it is interesting. Like
only people who deserve it.
The the sort of movies and stuff that are out there like that, like you're talking about, like with Batman or
Punisher's one. All these dudes like.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what's a
kills.
Like even Taxi Driver? It's like I just don't think that it's interesting. It's not in my
Well, you love Joker.
Psyche. I did love Joker though. Gosh, you're right.
And you like the scene probably where he kills the Wall Street bros.
I just like the dancing afterwards.
Yeah, it's a fucked up response to it. Instead of having the panic attack, he just embraces it. He starts.
This is neat.
He starts dancing. He enjoyed it.
I did.
So on some level,
yeah,
it resonated.
It did. I don't know why. Maybe I'll try and figure that out.
Well, at the end of Taxi Driver, there's the whole thing with the newspaper clippings on the wall, praising him as a hero. And there's always the discussion, is that real or is that in his mind? But I think it was the writer of the film. I don't think it was Scorsese. But it's like, no, that's real. That's the way it actually went down. It's like, okay.
Yeah, like when the writer or whoever it is, like gives you the answer and you're like, no, mine's better. I'm going to keep it that. Like, you don't know. It's like, yes, I do. I wrote it. Well, that's too bad. My idea is better.
I like the idea of it in his brain better. It's like, yes, because everyone thinks, I'm going to do this thing. It's violent, but it needed to be done. And when it's over, people are going to look at it and say, that's a complex issue, but you did the right thing and you saved this young girl. And they're going to celebrate you. And mostly people don't. One, they either don't think about it or they don't celebrate it. So I like the idea of it being a fantasy more so than the reality of it, but whatever. If that's the reality, then so be it. I still don't think it was the reality because in the movie he writes a letter, I think, to his parents, and he's lying about the state of his life.
Oh, yeah.
So fuck you, Schrader.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not really.
That's why I kind of don't want to see this second Joker, because I like the place that I've come to with the first one, sort of like figuring out what really happened and what didn't. I mean, there's the obvious things that didn't really happen that were presented as actually happening. But then at the end, right, you're not totally sure, like, was he really praised by the people and all that stuff. But I feel like in the second one, they kind of straighten all that out, and I'm not really interested.
It is straightened out, yes.
Yeah, I don't want to see it.
It's a shame. I like the idea. I know,
because I think it'd be fun to see Lady Gaga. I think she's a cool actress.
Well, learning about the film being a weird musical hybrid early on, it sounded cool. I thought it was going to be an interesting thing. I don't know. They just didn't. There is the idea that after the first one came out and everyone's talking about how they hated it and it was an anthem for incels and justified behavior.
Bullshit.
And then there's this idea that with the second one, they wanted to set all that straight.
Yeah.
And it was a big setup for the incels all along. And I don't know if that was the case, but it's too easy to make that case, which I think is a problem. And then, the musical part of it, the musical pieces, they don't really advance anything. And if you're going to do big set pieces, just, I don't know, I'd want them to be good. Not necessarily the singing has to be great, because I know Joe Quinn probably can't sing.
Well, he sang in Walk the Line.
Yeah, that's true. But Cash is singing. I couldn't do it, but I feel like maybe if you're a person who had a little bit of musical talent, you could.
I'll try to come.
Yeah, maybe you could pick up on it. That aside, there's no real point for the musical numbers. again, they were a fantasy and escape in his mind, but that in
There
itself
should be a reason for things happening in a movie.
it didn't justify their existence enough.
Right.
They weren't good enough to live on their own. If they're not going to advance anything, it's like, well, all right, this isn't good enough either. So why is it here?
Yeah, I'm not going to see it.
And then then at the very end, I mean, there's the level of what we're talking about in that movie where it's kind of the opposite, though, where he takes ownership of all the shit he did, and he thinks that people are going to respect that, and instead they all hate him for it. Like, I can't believe you gave up being the Joker. You're just a fucking pussy now.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, that's part of it. And then there's this guy in the prison. Spoiler alert. Who kills him. And then after he kills him, in the background, out of focus, you can see him slice his own mouth. You're like, oh, that's the real Joker. He was inspired by this fake Joker.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, it's cool, but the execution, it's like, okay, it just all, by that point, at the end of the movie, it did all feel like okay, sure, it's heavy-handed. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
There's a world where that could have worked.
Sure. If it had earned it, maybe, along the way. Yeah,
you can tell he was inspired by what happened in the first film, because I forget I think he quotes the line that he says before he shoots De Niro's character.
Oh.
Like this other guy quotes the same thing before he kills him, but
okay.
It's like, all right, so there was, a level of inspiration that people took from this, and
sure.
Now you've backed off on it, and this guy's pissed and he killed you, and now he has the motivation to be the real Joker. But
yeah, no, that sounds cool. But if you're saying it wasn't,
I
it could have been.
I mean, what do you have to lose if you come across it one day and it's free to watch?
Yeah, I would have it on. But again, I just don't want to put a taste in my mouth that I don't like.
Ruin your the first movie, because you'll always know that this one exists.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's like Back to the Future 3. I just never really liked the Wild West. I thought there were so many cooler places they could have gone with the time machine. Now the practicality of shooting that, I get it. It's, go back to the dinosaur era. It's like, it's probably not going to look too good in the 80s. And really, what story you're going to tell there? Like, you need to also have it still set in Hill Valley. So Hill Valley was founded in the third movie. So
yeah, if they went to the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and then he helps rescue an egg or something that's very important to.
In general, though, I think there was a T-Rex in the ride at Universal. But in general, I've never been a big Western person, which is interesting that I liked Red Dead Redemption so much. So
everybody liked Red Dead Redemption.
It just didn't interest me. So I was able to compartmentalize it, the third movie, and I still watched the first two. The problem is with the second one, it leads right into the third one.
Yeah.
So
with, different cast. Isn't that girlfriend?
In the second one, yeah, she's been replaced.
Yeah, what's her name? Elizabeth Shue.
Yeah, I can't remember if she was in the second one. She was the replacement, yes.
Yeah.
I guess people didn't know. The studio didn't promote that 2 wasn't the end of it. And Zemeckis wanted people to know because he felt like it was shitty to send them to the theater. And at the end, it says, to be concluded. I'm like, what the fuck? There's another one?
I remember people being upset watching Lord of the Rings when it was over, the first one. And they were like, wait, what? It's like, hello?
Yeah, but I feel like you should know, right?
Yeah, because you should know.
There's so many books. Wicked, I guess most people knew, but it wasn't promoted that there was a second part to it.
Oh, I don't even know that now.
Yeah, that was you're going to get all the Wicked campaigning promotion again.
Oh, no.
There's a second part. All the fake love between the leads. Oh, it's my sister. We're holding hands. We're going to blow kisses to each other constantly. We're just sisters and lovers now.
I don't understand.
Fuck up.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about Wicked.
The over promotion. I haven't ever seen Wicked on Broadway. I would. I'm not opposed, but it's not there's usually other things I would prefer to see. And I'm sure I would go see it and like it. And the movie, though, it was so in your face, and I was just tired of everything. It's like, oh, I'm not going.
I also don't think that what's her name? Ariana Grande is very good.
I agree.
I think she's a good singer, I guess. Like, I think she's talented as a singer, but I don't know. I don't know any of her acting. I don't think that she's very good. She seems to like change her persona a lot.
She does. Remember, she used to talk like a black person.
Yes.
And she just stopped.
Then she just stopped, and now she's like soft spoken. Wow. Oh my gosh, yes.
Like that's if you want to compare it to Gaga.
Yeah.
I feel like Gaga is just herself. It's like, I don't know, that's who she is. And Ariana Grande is like, what are you? What parts?
She was being
playing?
A little bit more provocative when she first like showed up on the scene.
Well, with the meat suit.
That, and then like I don't know, she just seemed to be like, she would like, I think there was some interview where she's like eating a candy the whole time or something. That's kind of weird. I don't know. She just seemed like a little bit more artsy before. And now she just is like, I mean, she's so talented. You can't
that could still be her though. Like the artsy, like Robert Pattinson lying about things.
What did he lie about?
he just, there's plenty of lies that he told. There was one point he had a reporter over at his house, and he told this reporter about this weird meal that he would always make. And it was this very strange thing, but it turned out to not be true. Let's see.
So he has like life bits. Like,
but he
does
just
them for himself.
He just lies. Like he just likes fucking around with interviewers. There was a bowl of pasta. Let's see. There was an interview with GQ. He made a bowl of pasta. Man, this article's not giving the details of it. It's just citing it. And I have to look up the Pattinson pasta thing. Should I ask ChatGPT?
I don't like using ChatGPT as a search engine.
Oh, so yeah, here's the thing. There was just, basically, a reporter came over and he talked about this thing he would make, and it was this pasta dish in the microwave, and he put like sugar into it and sliced some cheese, and he also put aluminum foil into it, and it sparked and seemingly blew up his microwave. And it's like he's just fucking around. And some of the other lies, I think something about having a stalker.
Wow. I feel like this might be you. I feel like you would do something like this. Yeah,
I just think it's fun.
Yeah.
He said he didn't wash his hair.
As a celebrity, you get the same questions over and over and over. You're like, let's throw something in here that'll just entertain me.
So at some point he said he didn't see a point in washing his hair.
Okay.
I think it's just a thing he said. I don't even know if it's premeditated, just in the moment. And for whatever reason, that's just a small little lie. And like people grasped onto that one. Like, what the fuck? He doesn't wash his hair. And I guess still to this day, people talk about it. It's this thing that people have. This idea they have about him.
He doesn't wash his hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish I had a list of these lies. I just know that they're funny. Wish we had someone to search for us while we spoke.
Robert Pattinson lies.
I just hate when the show devolves into us looking things up.
Yeah. It's not.
6 times he magnificently lied to the press. Just give me a list. Oh, now this thing. This is a Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone's behind a paywall. Are you kidding me? No one's paying for that shit. I'll go to archive.is and I'll read your stupid little article without paying you.
Okay. During the Water for Elephants press tour, Pattinson told Matt Lauer on live TV that he had quit a troubled relationship with the circus due to a traumatic clown car explosion incident he witnessed as a child.
Yeah, that's the one.
Asked if he had ever dreamed of running away to the circus, he responded by saying no, later elaborating and adding, "The first time I went to see the circus, somebody died. One of the clowns died." "How did he die?" Lauer questioned, genuinely surprised. "His little car exploded," Robert replied. The joke car exploded on him.
I don't know why I couldn't remember that one, but yes, that's the one. That's the one that makes me laugh the most. There's something else about a stalker and how she wouldn't leave him alone. So he finally said, "Let's go to dinner." And then he just bored her to death. So then she ended up leaving him alone.
Other tales he told include that he used to be a hand model, that he was a drug dealer in high school who imported substances in floppy disks, that he was expelled from his first prep school for peddling porn, that he's a fake furniture designer who makes tiny chairs out of clay, takes pictures of them, and then sends them to a designer he knows who helps build them, and that he thinks Batman has a sort of piratey type voice. Huh?
Well, the clown car is the best one.
Yeah,
Just
that's the
lying
best
to
one.
Lauer. It's like, I don't like the circus. The first time I went, I saw a clown die.
Exploded. It was pretty awesome.
Everyone just thinks of him as the Twilight dude. I know he's broken out of that recently, but
I never saw the Batman that he was in. Did you?
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the better ones. I think there's just such Batman fatigue. Like, it still did really well at the box office, but there have been so many Batman movies, and there was the whole Snyder verse, and you had Ben Affleck, who actually wasn't a bad Batman either. It's just that those films in general were not the greatest. But I think this one doesn't. If this one came out like when Nolan's came out instead of Nolan's in 2004, not to discredit, Batman Begins, but I think people would have really latched onto this one in a similar way because it's good.
I tried to rewatch the Batman with the Joker that everybody loves, the Heath Ledger one.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the beginning of it was so rushed and weird. I think we all need to go back and just take a look.
What, the bank heist?
Yeah. Well, all the stuff before the bank heist happens. The bank heist is cool. And maybe things, I don't know, it just seems like the editing or the pacing is really strange.
A lot of times with Nolan's...
watching it, I was like, this is stupid.
Well, even the third one with Bane, that just seems to jump from one thing to another. And there's this feeling that I have that it was originally like a 4-hour movie. And they're like, no, you got to cut this down. We can't do a 4-hour movie. And so stuff gets cut out and then it feels a bit rushed. That's just a theory. I have no clue.
I mean, he does go from that like hole in the ground in like Siberia or wherever they are.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are the logistics of getting Batman there?
It's also
like
poor
he's on a plane at some point. Did they feed him?
Well, he's also poor at that point too. He's lost all his money in that movie. So it's like, how did he get back? Yeah. It's a shame. I was really excited for that last one. There was also a time when a 2-hour movie was, what the fuck? You're going to do a 2-hour movie? Now movies are regularly 2.5, 3 hours.
People they got to stop. They got to stop doing that.
You don't want to go watch a 3-hour movie?
I do not.
Avengers
I'll watch
Endgame.
Gone with the Wind. No problemo.
Yeah, there was Blade Runner 2049, which that was a talking point that dissuaded people from seeing it. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. Like, what the fuck? I'm not going to see that shit. And then Avengers Endgame comes out and has a runtime of 3 hours and 1 minute. People are eating that shit up.
Christ.
Like, yeah, give me that.
Thank you.
It's like, all right, so you skipped the better movie because you thought it was too long.
Right.
And I almost did piss my pants watching it.
That's the worst part. Is like, I don't know. It's like, is this the right time to go?
I
hate to miss something.
Yeah, I hate going in the middle, so I'll hold on to it.
Yeah.
And then that movie theater was only a few blocks from my apartment, so I decided not to wait in the line with everyone else, and I went home. But that was a mistake. I made it.
Wow.
I made it, but it was a little dire. I thought I was going to piss my pants.
I recently peed on my underwear when I was going to the bathroom because I was a little tipsy and I was running to the bathroom because I had to pee so bad and I couldn't get my pants undone fast enough and I peed a little bit. And then I sent a video to my friend and told her about it.
And that's a segment
What do I do?
In the third episode of Real Sex. They've brought us full
drunk
circle.
42-year-olds with a weak pelvic floor pee themselves.
It brought us full circle.
It did.
At 1 hour and 8 minutes, 9 minutes.
Woo! All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.